Hello everyone, this is Boricua Binks and welcome back to Let's Play Seduce Me! In the last episode, we got the good ending with James, and now I am on Suzu's path. So basically I started the game over, and all I've done so far is just choose all the options in the beginning that were like agreeing with her. And now we're at this part, which is going to be something new, so that's why I'm going to include it. So instead of being a nice, decent person and staying and helping them prepare for the party, I'm going to go out with my girls. So let's do it.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. I trust these guys to be able to work everything out.
Thank you for trusting us, miss.
It sounds like bullcrap, but okay.
We'll have everything done for you by the time you return home.
Well, thank you, my nice, handsome servants.
All right, we'll wait here while you go get your things.
I was strangely relieved to know that everything was going to be okay while I was gone from the house. I trusted the guys enough to do everything they could for this house party, so my mind focused itself on hanging out with my friends. So this is new. Okay. Eventually, I was out the door, walking towards Naomi's car with Naomi and Suzu. Suzu grabbed the entire back seat as I took the passenger's side. Naomi started the car and drove off towards the city. It was nice driving out with my friends. After all that had happened, it was good to just go out and forget my troubles.
Well, since we got you out of the house, we might as well go to the mall and walk around a bit. We did just eat breakfast after all.
That's true. Yeah, that was a good meal though.
Could have had more flavor in my opinion.
Of course.
Suzu, you eat chili peppers when you're bored. Everything you eat always needs more flavor.
Alright, you need to teach me, Suzu. I'm just saying it because of the game. I would never eat all that hot stuff.
You just need to eat spicy food all the time. You gotta tame your mouth.
Tame your mouth? Really, Suzu?
Sounds difficult.
Anyways, after the mall, what do you want to do? We could go to the Pink Lady Cafe and chill out with Kay. I'm sure she'd love the company.
Who is Kay? I'm pretty sure I saw Kay mentioned before. I'm like, I don't know who she is.
But we have to stop by the arcade. They have this new game out called Orion. You get to control this guy named Isaku, and you're part of the rebel forces, and you get to shoot things, and there's robots, and...
Sheesh, we get it, Suzu, we get it. We'll go to the arcade.
Which one first, though? You know how popular Kay is. She'll be swamped with customers later in the day.
I'd rather go in the late afternoon. She has better options during the last hour of the cafe.
So basically after the arcade?
You figured me out so quickly, Patterson.
What did I tell you about using my last name?
Well, let's go to the arcade first. So we headed to the mall and walked around for a good amount of time before driving out to Moonfall Arcade. As weird as the name sounded, the arcade was one of the best arcades in the city. Kids and teenagers lined the games. This is like old school arcade. That's awesome. Kids and teenagers lined the games, watching the players at the consoles as they anxiously waited to have their turn.
Oh, there it is!
Suzu grabbed Naomi and me by the hands before dragging us to a section of the arcade where a bunch of kids had gathered in awe and excitement. In the middle of the crowd was a large game with 2 joystick platforms and a screen that flashed the name Orion every other second. In the background of the screen, a holographic playfield glimmered before us, revealing a neo-futuristic battlefield and an enemy robot charging right at the camera.
This is the game you were excited about?
It looks really cool.
That's right! And I'm gonna play it so hard I'll beat the game in one shot.
It's a lot of coins you're going to be giving up. Suzu smirked and looked at me, hoping that I would join her as I usually did for partner games. I looked to Naomi, who merely rolled her eyes, crossed her arms, and gave me the okay nod. I grinned before nodding to Suzu, who cheered in joy.
Woohoo! All right, let's do this.
She's so fun. It took us a good half hour before we were able to step up to the platforms. The point of the game was to beat the government and restore freedom to the general public. We played as rebels and a robot, and the game quickly became a smash and bash game versus multiple enemy robots. Playing with Suzu was always an adventure. We both knew what our strengths and weaknesses were, so it was easy to collaborate with each other. It wasn't long before we got into the swing of the game and were beating enemies like crazy. By the time we got to the boss, we were unstoppable. It was so refreshing to beat the boss and put our 3-letter code names into the high score list.
And that is how you game. We are unstoppable, Anderson.
Suzu gave me a large smile, which made me smile back. I was happy to be able to hang out and have fun with my friends like this. I felt free from worries or responsibilities. It was something I loved, and something that you're gonna have to give up eventually. It sucks being an adult. We eventually lost track of the time and wound up staying longer than we expected, making us unable to stop at the cafe before going home to dress for the housewarming party. Sorry, Naomi. So we drove back. Naomi and Suzu picked up clothes and other necessities from their houses before driving back to the mansion. The hour of the house party had arrived. In my mind, I kept double and triple checking the essentials for the party. Knowing my dad, he invited his business partners and the executives of the Anderson Company to show me off. Okay, this seems familiar. What time am I at? I still got plenty of time, so let's skip. I don't know. Does it matter which one I choose for this one? Let's just say as ready all over. I think that's what I said before. Alright, here we go. It's pretty good.
I'm so sorry about your grandfather passing.
Thank you.
Do you have college plans?
I mean, I could be a total witch and and do all the mean answers, but it's a possibility.
What do you think will happen with the company now that your grandfather has passed?
Get
What
back
do you
on
think
track.
of the philanthropic policy the company has?
Hers
Do you
think
think the
it's great.
company should expand from just toys?
I don't think that makes sense. Okay. Anything else? For this one, well, I plan to pursue this guy maybe the next route. For now, I don't think it makes sense for me to be too friendly to him, so I'll simply nod. That's kind of rude, though. Andrew was slightly taken aback, but gently smiled and lowered his hand with a nod in return. My mother smiled at both of us, which made me slightly concerned. Why was she excited to introduce me to Andrew?
So,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Praise is very much deserved.
Okay. Stay put. Ugh. Alright. For this one, what should I think... What did I tell him? I told him to get out of my house, right? I'm tempted to use the F word. Yeah, why not? F you, dude. Malik suddenly laughed wildly, staring at me in disbelief.
Whoa! Who let the bitch out of her cage? What is this? A reverse harem or something?
Sorry. I was trying to hold it in. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, why you gotta be so self-aware? Reverse harem. Oh boy, you got that right. I mean, I don't appreciate being called a bee, but... Malix grinned at me evilly, walking close to me. For this one, I'm gonna duck. Okay. Alright, so for this one, I don't think it matters. I mean, if I explore the house, then I can learn the magic and all that from my grandpa. Okay, how about I don't disturb them? Whatever. Pizza. Pizza's always good no matter what time of day it is. Do we have any? Luckily, we had some pizza. Pizza amore is baked with love pizza. Oh my god, toppings of everything. Cool. Alright, so normally I would just say find one of the incubi, but because I'm going to be distant from them in order to get with Suzu, I'm going to do this. Go to your room and eat. I decided against bothering them. They knew where the food was, so I went to my room instead and ate alone in my room. It's not my problem. I turned on my computer and started to jam to music as I ate my food. As I ate, I began to think about going out. There were so many places to go, things to do. Wow, I've never seen this option. Grandfather's grave, stay in my room. Oh man, I gotta play this. I'm gonna keep playing this game through so many times because there's so many different options. I'm gonna go to the arcade because I'm sure that's where Suzu's at. I arrived at the arcade, ready to spend some cash on some fun games. I didn't want to be stuck at home on a Sunday. Besides, the arcade always had something new to play, no matter how often you came. I began to wander the aisles of machines, scanning over them to find a good game to play. Excuse me. I had played a lot of the games already with Suzu, so it was just a matter of finding a good one. What finally caught my attention was a crowd of people surrounding a group of machines. I got closer and peeked through the crowd to see Suzu sitting in a racing game versus two other players who were on the same machine behind Suzu's. From the looks of it, Suzu was losing, and that was causing her angered face.
You're going down!
Kiss my Italian ass!
I stifled a giggle, watching Suzu remain playful under stress. She was adorable, but feisty. Oh, your feelings are showing, Mika. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I didn't even bother changing her name, but whatever. It's cool. Yeah, she was adorable but feisty, truly a spicy Italian. I observed as Suzu finally caught up to her opponents and passed them with ease.
What the? Hurry it up!
Later, losers!
The crowd began to cheer, watching Suzu beat out the guys and slide into first place. As the lights and sounds began to blare in celebration, the two jerks left the machine in a huff, and Suzu stood up.
Good game, everyone.
Good job. Slowly, the crowd began to disperse, leaving me standing to applaud for Suzu alone. Suzu smiled as she finally saw me, walking over to me.
Hey, what brings you here?
I didn't want to be stuck at home, so I came here. I need to have some fun after yesterday.
Yeah, man, I get you. Yesterday was full of tightwad business guys, and me and Naomi were pretty uncomfortable too.
Really? I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, I feel really bad now. Suzu laughed and waved her hand in dismissal of it. She then leaned against the racing game and put her hands in her pockets.
So what do you plan on doing here?
Let's play a game together.
Oh, really? What game do you think you could beat me at?
I think we can do some major damage and beat our high scores in robot extermination. Suzu grinned from ear to ear, nodding before taking my hand and heading over to the machine in question. It was cute to see Suzu like this. She was always the adventurous type, and I loved that side of her beyond anything. I guess that's what kept our friendship strong for so long. Eventually, we did reach a large machine, covered with images of robots disguised as animal mascots and blood. We took up our plastic guns and swiped our game cards across the credit slot, giving our credits to the game to play. Oh, so they don't use coins. Gotcha.
You take left, I take right?
As usual, let's go. The game quickly started up and we blasted our way through hordes of robots, landing more headshots than professional shooter tournament players. Suzu and I had played this game so often, it pretty much had become our go-to high-score game. We always kept the top 5 spots on the leaderboard for ourselves. As we finished the first level, though, we were stunned to see the new leaderboard at the loading screen.
Someone took number 1?
Who? Oh, hell no.
We maxed that level, right?
Mm-hmm. Suzu looked at me with a very familiar deadly look in her eyes. She was determined to regain number 1. So was I. I knew what this meant. No deaths, quick reloads, and consistent headshots and Easter egg points. The whole experience itself ran 2 hours straight, with the main game and its sequel programmed into the machine. Once you finished one, you immediately began the next until you reached the end of the second game. At least it had some cutscenes to take breaks between. That's exhausting. It'll be tough, but we got this. Suzu nodded before putting her game card in the breast pocket of her jacket and readying herself for the next level. I braced myself for a long game.
Hey Anderson, let's make this a little more fun. Whoever has the least amount of headshots has to treat the other to lunch.
It's almost 2 p.m., Suzu.
There's such a thing as late lunch.
Okay, Hobbit. Alright, you're on.
Second level. Start.
And we were off. Virtual bullets began to fly across the screen, slamming into the heads of multiple robots and causing them to fall to the floor and die out. One by one, Suzu and I burned through the game like our lives depended on it. We eventually had a crowd form behind us, cheering us on and offering us food so that we wouldn't have to leave the machines. Oh, that's cool. Most of them were guys who liked the girl-on-gun action, but some of them were actually excited bystanders, hoping that we would take back our high score. We snacked a bit, taking breaks between cutscenes and level changes, but we remained true to our goal. Eventually, we made it to the final boss, a giant black bear robot with red eyes and deadly attacks.
Let's go, Anderson!
Right behind you! The crowd behind us began to cheer as we began our final battle. Our legs were a little wobbly, but we were too into the game to care. All we cared about was the large red bar at the top of the screen slowly emptying with each bullet we fired into the boss's body. We only had a few shots left when someone called out.
You girls suck!
Without missing a shot, Suzu and I replied at once. What an ass hat! Seriously! They're kicking ass and you're being a douche? She's just jealous. Yes, they replied at once.
You wish we did!
You wish we did. Before landing the final blow to our opponent, the death cutscene flashed and played on the screen. The scream of the robot bear booming through the speakers. Suzu and I weren't excited just yet. We were waiting for the high score screen to appear. It was the final high score screen of the entire game, so it was the most important screen in our eyes. Come on, come on.
New high score.
Yeah. The screen popped up, revealing our code, SCA, as the number 1 score in the game, knocking down, for real, MAL, has to be Malik's. Alright. The crowd behind us went ballistic as Suzu and I hugged each other tightly in joy. It was like stepping over a major milestone, despite it only being an arcade game. We did it! Woohoo! The second stat screen came up, separating Suzu and I from our hug of delight. In matters of accuracy, I was better. However, Suzu had more kills and headshots, making her the winner of our little bet.
Booyah! Free lunch!
Alright. Where to, boss?
I just want some drive-thru food. I've been eating way too many home-cooked meals, man. I need at least one unhealthy meal.
Girl, I feel you. Suzu's family was indeed an Italian family, but they were very self-conscious about their food. They were quite possibly the healthiest family I knew. Suzu and I left the arcade, occasionally stopping to be given praise or be asked a question about our gaming skills. We eventually headed out to the parking lot, where a decently used jade motorcycle sat with chains around its wheels. Suzu quickly took off the chains and took a seat on the bike, getting out 2 helmets, placing one on her own head and ushering me to sit behind her. She rides a motorcycle! A green motorcycle! Oh my god, you're so cool! Yes! I followed her gesture and made myself comfortable on the leather seat behind her. putting on one of the helmets and wrapping my arms around her waist. I had ridden with her on her motorcycle before, so this was nothing new to us. Suzu revved the engine and quickly sped out of the lot, driving into the streets towards a fast food joint.
Does Paradise Parlor sound good? I'd love some Paradise Nuggets and cheese fries.
Oh, that's realistic that she sounds like that. Yeah, sounds good. We went through the drive-thru and ordered meals for ourselves before heading to my home. Suzu parked in the front watching me dismount from her bike.
Thanks for late lunch.
Might as well be dinner now. Suzu and I laughed. It was funny how time flew by. Oh yeah, you have to get the food. You haven't even eaten yet. It makes sense if we actually ate together. Want to stick around and eat together?
Huh? Oh, nah man, I gotta head back home and watch Francesca while my folks meet up with some bigwigs from the casino.
Oh. Oh, okay. See you in school then.
Thanks though. See ya!
I waved at Suzu as she quickly headed out of the gates and back home. I smiled as I watched her go before heading back inside. Suzu stuck around in my mind for a little longer than I expected, but I couldn't help but smile. That's actually pretty cute. I wonder if these feelings have been there for a while, or the boys kind of triggered this. I don't know, I'm just curious. The remainder of the night passed by, surprisingly uneventful. Stopped and made her dinner. I think that's familiar. This is different then. I packed my bag and carried it downstairs into the kitchen. I quickly made myself coffee and toast, not having time for anything big. This is really, because I skipped, I don't know where. Alright, I let out a soft sigh in happiness as I sipped my coffee. It felt great, and I felt like nothing could stop me today. Oh no, don't say that. Come at me, Day. I'm ready for you. I looked to the time again. Time to go. Oh, okay, so we're here now. Can I skip this? Because if I can, I don't want to just end this. Of course, I want to kick her butt. Because that's what Suzu would want me to do anyway. Okay, I can skip this. So you know what? I think we're going to leave this episode right here, actually. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this. And until next time, have a nice day. Bye!